Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 12, which is entitled as Bhakti Yoga. Sloka 11. Athaitad kartuṁ mad-yogam aśritaḥ sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ kuru yatātmavān. So far, in past 3 slokas, we learned that Krishna is giving options. If we can't do this, do this. If we can't do this, do this. So there are various options are being provided. The first and expected practice, the stage, Krishna said in the 8th sloka, "You meditate upon me with intense love and devotion." In response, Arjuna said, "That is not possible for me to completely fix my mind upon you." Then Krishna lowered and he said, "Well, you could remember my auspicious qualities: Saundarya, Saushilya, Sauharda, Vatsalya, Karunya, Madhurya, Gambhirya, Audharya, Saurya, Virya, Parakrama, Sarvajñatva, Satyakamatva, Satyasankalpatva, Sarveshwaratva, Sakala Karanatva. There are many qualities. You can frequently remember my auspicious qualities." And Arjuna said, "That is not possible either, as I am very used to see faults in other, not the good qualities in other. Or I can see good things in me, but not in others." Then further Krishna lowered the standard and told Arjuna, "If you cannot engage your mind, as I said in the previous 8th and 9th sloka, then engage your body. Do physical activities for me. Construct temple, make a temple garden, take care of tulasi mat, maintain the building, lighting the lamps at the temple, cleaning the temple, washing the floor, polishing the pots and other articles, making nice garlands and decorating the temple with flowers, putting rangolis, performing deity worship with right articles, chant the holy names of the Lord, circumambulate the temple, offer your prayers in a different stotra and slokas, pay your obeisances." You can do any of these things by your body. I suggested that to you, so your hands and legs can be fully engaged in my service. Otherwise, they will get engaged in other material activities, as they can't stay quiet, which you know very well. I offered you in the 11th sloka, and you said you can't do that as well, as it is not meant for you, it is for someone else. In short, anything that involves others, not you, you seem to be not interested to do it. You can't fix your mind upon me. You can't frequently remember my qualities. You can't work for me. That's all because it's me, it's not for you. And Arjuna acknowledged that's the case. Then if that is the case, let me offer you another option which will help you. What is that? Perform your karma yoga. Karma yoga, that is chapter 2 and 3. Why are we going back to chapter 2 and 3? How will that help me now? We are in the second section of Bhagavad Gita, which is all about Krishna, Paramatma and Bhakti Yoga. Why we have to go back to the starting of Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga. Well, when you do Karma Yoga, the consciousness gets purified. Chitta Suddhi happens. Your mind becomes in peace. Then you will be able to have Atma Sakshatkara. You will be able to realize the Atma, understanding that you are subservient of the Supreme Lord, of me. Jivatma is not independent. Then you will start doing activities, physical activities for me. As you do some service with your legs and hands, you will start remembering and appreciating my qualities, my Kalyana Guna. Then you will get a determination wanting to be with me, wanting to attain me. That will lead you to start constantly fixing your mind upon me. Through that bhakti, you can attain me. Therefore, Arjuna, do your varnashrama dharma. Krishna paused for a few seconds and then said, but. Whenever there is a but, there is a condition attached to what has been told earlier. As you do your varnashrama dharma, karma yoga, do it with trivida parityaha. That is, number 1, kartritvatyaha, number 2, mamatatyaha, number 3, phalatyaha. Kartritvatyaha means I am the doer. Give up that mentality. Mamatatyaha means this belongs to me. I am the owner. I am the proprietor of this action, of these things. Give up that mentality. Phalatyaha means expecting a result of your action. Give up that mentality. So, you have to perform your karma yoga, varnashrama dharma. As you perform your varnashrama dharma, do it with trivida parityaha. Kartritvatyaha, mamatatyaha, phalatyaha. I am not the doer, I am not the proprietor, I do not expect a result out of this action. Now let's get into the sloka. Let's do the word by word first. Mad-yogam, bhakti yoga relating to me, āśritaḥ, taking refuge aimed at athaitad, even these actions to be done for my sake. Kartuṁ aśakto aśyata. If you are unable to do tataḥ, then yatātmavān, self-situated, controlled in mind, sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ, the performance of activities with no desire for fruits, kuru, do. Translation: if, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Now this has to be really understood in a right sense. Initially, Krishna said, fix your mind upon me, I can do it. Remember my auspicious qualities, engaging in bhakti yoga by following the regulatory principles, I can do it. Perform physical activities for me, I can do it. Now Krishna says, sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ, as another option, that give up all results of your work. So, give up all, then what am I supposed to do? If I give everything off, what is left? Does it mean I should not do any work? Or does it mean that I have to give away everything that I have Or does it mean that as I do any work activities, everything has to be given up? What does it mean? And also, if Krishna is suggesting Arjuna to do karma yoga that was instructed in the beginning of Gita, and again is instructing here in the 12th chapter, is there a difference between karma yoga that was instructed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita and the one which is being instructed now in the 12th chapter? Moreover, another important question comes into mind is, we pass through all these different yogas and we are in Bhakti Yoga. Then why Krishna is taking us back to Karma Yoga, which is 2nd and 3rd chapter of Gita? Let's try to find answers to this. Krishna is recommending Arjuna to perform Karma Yoga because Arjuna is unable to do what Krishna said in the previous slokas. We should remember these instructions are directly to us. Arjuna is a media. Now the question is, if Krishna is recommending us to perform Karma Yoga, then what is the difference between the Karma Yoga? Or, in other words, is there a difference between Karma Yoga that Krishna said in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita and over here in this 11th sloka? There is certainly difference, not difference in a way what to do, but in what consciousness one has to perform. Let's understand that in more detail. When Krishna instructed Karma Yoga in the beginning, it is for someone who is not involved in Bhakti Yoga or one who has no information about Bhakti Yoga. But now the instruction is given to someone who has been instructed about Bhakti Yoga, who understand what Bhakti Yoga means. Because at the end of 11th chapter, Bhaktya tvananya sakya ahameva vido arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena pravashtum cha parantapa. Over there Krishna established that Bhakti Yoga is the only means by which one can understand Krishna, one can see Krishna, one can attain Krishna, and there is no other means to achieve these. Again, the only difference between the initial instruction of Karma Yoga and over here is, over here it is for someone who has gone through the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, whereas the one that was instructed initially in the 3rd chapter is for someone who has not gone through an understanding of what Bhakti Yoga means. That's a major difference. But otherwise, everything remains same. It is the same Karma Yoga that one has to follow. So why Krishna is recommending Karma Yoga here? Because for one who understands Bhakti Yoga but unable to practice Bhakti Yoga, Krishna recommends go back and perform the Karma Yoga. Let's understand this in more detail. There are two goals. One is Brahma Jnana. Also, we can take that as Atma Jnana, which means one may be interested in attaining the Atma or attaining the Brahman, the impersonal form. Whereas the other category or the goal is attaining Krishna, Bhagavat Prapti. So these are two categories. Atma Prapti, for one to attain Atma Prapti, one has to perform Karma Yoga practices, Karma Yoga Anushtana, which gradually leads one to attain Atma. When we say attain Atma, not that Atma is somewhere else and we are going to go and be one with Atma. It is individual Atma that each one get a realization. And this is what called as Atma Sakshatkara. Let's understand what Atma Sakshatkara means. It is having the vision of Atma. It is not that I see my Atma. It is as good as I see my Atma. Because if I say Atma Sakshatkara means I see my Atma, that means I and Atma becomes two different entities. But that's not the case. Why? Because I am that Atma. Atma is me. So Atma cannot see Atma itself. So what does it mean by Atma Sakshatkara? It means getting a vision of seeing Atma as it is. A realization, an experience, as if one could see Atma directly. And this is called Atma Sakshatkara. And how one can attain that stage? It is through the practice of Karma Yoga, which gradually leads one into Atma Sakshatkara. That is path 1. So for path 1, to attain Atma Prapti, the upayam, the means, is Karma Yoga. Whereas for Bhagavat Prapti, to attain Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the step 1 is Parabhakti, by performing Bhakti Yoga. It is only Bhakti Yoga which will lead one to Krishna. So two things, Atma Prapti attained through Karma Yoga, Bhagavat Prapti attained through Bhakti Yoga. If one wants to attain Krishna, one must have bhakti towards Krishna, an unalloyed bhakti. But for one to develop that bhakti with great love and devotion towards Krishna, one must realize that they are Atma. Without this basic fundamental understanding, realization that they are Atma, they cannot perform bhakti. One cannot perform bhakti without that understanding and realization. For one to come to a realization that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, one must perform Karma Yoga, that is their Varnashrama Dharma. By engaging oneself in Karma Yoga, one's consciousness gets purified. When the consciousness gets purified, a person will be able to engage in Jnana Yoga. As a person engages in Jnana Yoga, he will be able to have the Atma Sakshatkara. Unless one gets Atma Sakshatkara, self-realization, one cannot get into bhakti. Therefore, the self-realization becomes an essential qualification for one to enter into an unalloyed bhakti towards Krishna, in which one can perform bhakti yoga. And this is the reason why Krishna is pointing Arjuna back to perform the Karma Yoga, which was covered way back in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. And this is the reason why Krishna was not able to skip the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, because ultimately everyone must attain Krishna through performing Bhakti Yoga. If Bhakti Yoga and Krishna are the only ultimate subject matter, then why to waste time in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita? In fact, Krishna could have avoided those first 6 chapters and got straight into the 7th chapter as the first chapter. But Krishna did not do that. It is not possible to do that. The reason is because for one to perform bhakti towards Krishna, we must understand that we are Atma. Why we have to understand this? First, the subject of Atma, because unless we understand we are Atma, we will not be able to understand Paramatma, who is residing within the Atma. Therefore, Krishna could not skip the first 6 chapters, and therefore we must not skip the first 6 chapters, which elaborates and focuses on Atma and the means to understand and become self-realized, have the Atma Sakshatkara. Therefore, the first 6 chapters are very important. But as one starts applying the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in the sequence and achieve the Atma Sakshatkara, one may easily start thinking himself to be independent from Krishna and just settle down in enjoying his own Atma. That's the reason Krishna many times in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita keeps reminding us that we do this with Trivida Tyaga, by remembering Krishna's transcendental form, that I am not the doer, I am not the proprietor, I am not expecting a result out of my action. Krishna has set the process and procedures, but now he doesn't force it on anyone. It is up to the individual to follow that or not to follow. He is fortunate if he understands his Atma and then start connecting himself with Paramatma. One is unfortunate if one thinks and understands his Atma and then settles down thinking he is independent from Paramatma. There's another question that we need to understand is this Atma Dhyana, the meditation of Atma, is discussed in the first sections of Bhagavad Gita, that is 1 through 6, and also in the 8th chapter, Atma Dhyana is being discussed, Jara Marana Mokshaya. We have seen that one. So is there a difference between these two Atma Dhyana? Let's learn the difference in our next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.